Welcome. Today we're jumping into Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand, a book that honestly is a total game changer. We're going to break down how a pretty simple shift in how you talk about your business can be the difference between getting lost in the noise and being the one brand that truly connects. So, let's kick things off with a problem that I bet a lot of you have felt before. You've got this great product, you know it works, you know it can help people, but your marketing just falls flat. It feels like you're shouting into an empty room. So what is going on here? Why isn't it working? Well, according to the book, the number one mistake brands make is just being unclear. Way too often we talk about ourselves, our company story, our fancy features, but customers aren't looking for that. They're scanning for a simple, clear message that tells them one thing. How are you going to help me win? Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into why so much marketing just doesn't work. Then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of the StoryBrand framework, really focusing on the two main players, the hero and the guide. And finally, we'll lay out a super simple path to put it all into action. So what's the big secret? What's the key to cutting through all that noise out there? Well, it's not about being louder or spending more money. It's actually much simpler than that. It's all about being clearer. Miller's main point is this. Our brains are basically wired to survive. And that means they're always looking for ways to conserve energy. So if you make your customer burn a bunch of calories just trying to figure out what you do, their brain does what it's designed to do. It just tunes you out. Clarity isn't just nice to have, it's a survival mechanism. So how do we fix this? How do we become clear? Well, the solution is to use the most powerful communication tool ever created, something that's practically baked into our DNA and that we've been responding to for thousands of years. And that's just a good story. And this is it. This is the SB7 framework. Think of it like a filter for everything you want to say. Every great movie you've ever seen follows this pattern. And when you run your marketing message through it, it organizes everything into a story that people will actually pay attention to. All right, now we're getting to what is probably the single biggest and most important mindset shift in the entire book. It all starts with the very first piece of this framework. Just look at that first step again, a character. This is the absolute core of it all. Here's the secret. Your brand is not the character. Your customer is. They are the hero of the story. Everything, and I mean everything, has to revolve around them. See, your customer isn't looking for another hero. They've already got one, themselves. They're looking for a guide. The minute you make your brand the hero, you're competing with your customer for the starring role. You have to put them at the center of the story. Always. And this insight is so powerful. Solving the surface problem isn't enough. For every external problem, like, say, needing a better website, there's an internal problem, like feeling embarrassed by their current one. And there's even a philosophical problem, this feeling that good businesses shouldn't be held back by bad websites. Your marketing has to hit all three levels. Okay, so if the customer is the hero, where do you fit in? What role does your brand play? This is where it all clicks. This is how your business becomes essential to their story. Take a look at step 3. Your brand is the guide. You are Yoda to their Luke Skywalker. You're the expert who shows up at just the right time with the plan, the tools, and the encouragement the hero needs to win the day. This slide just lays it out so clearly. The brand as the hero is all about we, us, our. It's self-focused. But when you become the guide, the language totally shifts. It becomes about you and your success. This is the fundamental pivot you have to make. Now, to be a guide that people actually trust, you need to show two things. It's really simple. First, empathy. You have to prove you understand their problem and how it feels. And second, authority. You need to show you know what you're doing using things like testimonials, stats, or awards. That 1-2 punch of empathy and authority builds all the trust you need. So what does a good guide actually do? They don't just stand there dispensing wisdom. No, a good guide clears the fog. They light up the path forward and give the hero a simple, clear plan for victory. Okay, so let's zoom in on these last 3 steps. A great guide does 3 critical things. They give the hero a plan, they call them to action, and they clearly show them what's at stake. You know, a hero is often just stuck because they're confused about what to do next. The guide's job is to eliminate that confusion. By giving them a simple 3 or 4-step plan, you're not just telling them what to do, you're building their confidence that they can actually do it. And your plan has to feel like a set of easy-to-cross stepping stones, something just like this. Step 1, schedule a call. Step 2, get your custom plan. Step 3, achieve your goal. See? No jargon, no complexity, just clarity and forward momentum.
But here's the thing. Even a hero with a plan needs a push. They need to be challenged to move. If you don't clearly and directly ask for the sale, you can't be surprised when they don't buy. You need a big, obvious buy now button on your website.
And it's really smart to have 2 kinds of calls to action. The direct one, like buy now, is for people who are ready to go. But for those who are still on the fence, a transitional one, like download our free guide, gives them a low-risk way to engage and builds trust for a later purchase. And finally, a story without stakes is boring. A good guide has to remind the hero what's on the line. You have to talk about what they stand to lose if they don't take action, and you have to paint a vivid, beautiful picture of what success looks and feels like if they do. That's what creates real motivation. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Transformation. Your message needs to stop being about your product and start being about the better version of your customer that exists on the other side of doing business with you. That's the incredibly powerful and really simple idea at the heart of the StoryBrand framework. So now, the question for you is, what story is your brand telling right now? And who is the hero? Because if it's not your customer, it's probably time for a rewrite.